Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Leadership Void Podcast. I'm Enrique with my co-host Vince to bring you the best in our veteran, military spouse, and first responder community. And Vince will introduce today's guest.
Thanks, Enrique. Happy May, everyone. We are here with Meshelle M. Howard. Guess what? She is the Director of Small Business Programs for the Washington Metropolitan Area Transportation Authority, all the way from Washington, D.C. and Baltimore area. Meshelle, welcome to the show. Start off, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, thank you so much, Vince. Well, you know what? You said the main thing that I'm doing right now. I am working at WMATA. I am there for 2 years now, almost three, as their new director of the small business programs. You know, I implemented some new programs for small businesses there, the minority business enterprise, micro and small business enterprise. So it's really been great because it affects our small business community. And it's a way of also helping, the economy grow, in our region and everything. Yes, I am a veteran. That is my near and dear heart, Army, go Army. And so I am extremely proud of that. I'm also retired from the state of Maryland. So I worked in the state of Maryland as a director of civil rights and fair practices for the Maryland Transportation Authority. So, I've been honing that whole skills with small business. So this whole career has really been helping, giving back to the small businesses.
Well, we love how our military complement retirees, veterans return home and start making impact here locally. And so we're very proud of what you've done for yourself and for the state. And we wanted to ask you to tell us a little bit more about WMATA and what you guys are up to.
So, WMATA is a huge agency. Since being there, I have learned that we have well over 12,000 employees. I was like, wow. We have like 91 metro rail stations, I've learned, and they said it's like 117 miles of track. We have like over 1,500 buses, and they run 24 hours a day. It's just like so much with transportation, how we service the, District of Columbia, Washington and Maryland. So we have to be extremely safety, customer service oriented. So there are always different meetings on strategies of how to make transportation better. We're building and maintaining our transit system with financial assistance from the FTA, the Federal Transit Administration. So we do get that, and that's why we have to have what is called our Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. And, I just think about how everything connects, transportation connects people, connects businesses. It's just building those different bridges.
No, absolutely. I mean, first of all, you stated, you're employing such a plethora of individuals in the DMV area. Plus, the community itself benefits because we need transportation.
Yeah,
So,
it's a very important part of getting around. Not everybody has a car.
absolutely. We're both originally from New York, so we value that type of transportation, either buses or trains. So
Right.
thank you and kudos to everything you guys are doing. So, Meshelle, love to know more about what do you do to give back in our community?
I am always busy in and out of the community. Sometimes I forget some of the things I do because it's natural. Like one of the things that I really am proud of is coaching the small business community. I coach, teach, small businesses about what is called the socioeconomic programs, doing business with the federal government or state government, local governments, that have them have an opportunity to get on contracts. And so the certification process comes in. So I do a lot of the volunteering. At nighttime, I work with some other cohorts of mine, and we have panels where we teach and coach small businesses about making their business better. and how they get connected, with contracts and things of that sort. How to partner with each other, have joint ventures, bid on contracts like that, just keeping their resumes, how you say, current, marketing their businesses. Sometimes it's so hard because small businesses, you're trying to do everything, you're trying to do the actual work and the administrative side. And so it's really, it just touches my heart to be able to know that I can teach them the things that they won't normally hear or find out about that will help their business.
And it is so vital for small businesses to have that type of interchange with local government and entities. And so happy that you are reaching back and educating and giving that opportunity for those small businesses to thrive. So thank you for that. Now,
Oh, thank
that's
you.
one of those programs that are vital, and I'm sure that you guys have a lot more to give. So what's on the horizon for WMATA?
Let me tell you, we are partnering with Latinos in Transportation. And so, and yeah, right. So we in September, they are planning right now. They're planning. I think they're trying to get the dates locked in. But our agency will partner and help sponsor their conference in September here in the DMV area. And so that is like, I'm so excited about that because, like WMATA, I've made sure that we have had our first all Spanish speaking instructions on certification for their businesses and everything. And it's just been so near and dear to my heart. People say, Meshelle, what does the MV stand for in your name? And I'm like, I used to say motor vehicles, and everybody go, what motor vehicles? But it doesn't. It stands for Manuelita Velasquez, right? My father is Spanish. So my mom, she is from the Caribbean. And so for me, it's like bringing the culture and communities together because it has so much to offer, all the time. So we also have our own procurement outreach that we're going to be doing sometime in August. We're putting together right now, working on a procurement fair. And that's going to bring businesses together again, in the community. And it's just been so great to partner, and just how you say, improve the transportation that we're giving.
I love that motor vehicle acronym, but you turned it on its head. So muchas gracias for that. Love you bringing the cultures together as behind you, team success occurs
Yeah.
for bringing diverse groups of people to be more included. So I appreciate everything I'm here. So let's dive a little bit about leadership now. So how do you, Meshelle, sharpen your skill sets that aids you to thrive in your success? Excuse me.
So, of course, the military has been an extremely big role in my life. Being in the Army, it brought out skill sets in me that I did not identify. They helped me to identify those leadership skill sets. And so I read a lot of books. I'm always, looking for good books, talking to books about, hey, what have you read lately? I just recently read a book, Success Mindsets. And, it talks about how the way we think and approach different things can affect, our failures and or our successes, in every parts of life, not just work and everything. It affects how we make decisions, how we look at others. So I really enjoyed reading that book. And we had another book that I had read. It was Your Leadership Legacy. I think it was Oakland McCullough who did that. And what I liked about his book and Leadership Legacy is that he talks about the military and how we relate what we've learned in leadership in the military. He simplified it so that I always say so civilians will understand too, right? The different skill sets that we have when we become leaders and how do we use them in our personal life as well as in our work life, right? I always say that leadership can be done at every level, right? You don't have to have a title in order for someone to be a leader. If you can influence and motivate other people, that's a part of leadership. Another thing I do is I talk to leaders at different levels in the organization, because I want to know their viewpoints and how they strategize and make decisions. And what are they actually looking at? Because people say the bigger picture. So the bigger picture, though, has to be cut down sometime. You know how they say the elephant in the room, you eat it one bite at a time. And so to me, I always look at that as leadership strategies. How do we make certain things happen? How do we strategize? But it takes a team. That word team is the most important, because when you come together as a team, you can make so many things happen. So I'm always reading, always trying to have those conversations, about how other leaders lead, the strategies that they use. And that really helps me. It gives me different ideas on leading my own team.
And we love how the military indeed helps folks identify those things that we can't see. We do it very early. And we were blessed to have Oak with us at one time. So we know
Oh,
him and
okay.
his book. So I know it's very influential. But who are to all our Army family members? We love every branch and every service, and we thank you for that service. Now, as you was growing in the Army, you got an opportunity to get identify some areas in your life and in your practice to help you on. But what sort of advice did you receive that you would like to pass on to an emergent leader today?
you know, oh wow, it's because it's so much. But I would definitely say, no matter the situation you're in, adapt to your environment, right? The first thing is to adapt to your environment, because when you adapt to your environment, you can take note of the leadership that is present, right? And then you can add value that you have to the leadership, right? You want to adapt to the environment, take note of the present leadership, and don't be afraid to add your value, because it becomes so important in how the whole organization will lead and accomplish its mission.
No, definitely adapting to the environment is so key before adding your value. And that acronym of team is together, everyone achieves more, right? Comes to
Yes.
fruition. So I definitely appreciate hearing that. So definitely great advice giving there. So Meshelle, tell us about a memorable leadership aha moment you love to share with our audience today.
Well, of course, the most recent for me, as I said, I've been here about 2 years now. And for me, it was transitioning to this new team as a leader, right? So, what I wanted to do was give them a document about me, about my leadership style, how I coach, my approach to solving problems, just to say, hey, this is who Meshelle is. Let's talk about me. If you have questions, because when you have to go in and lead a new team, they have questions. They trying to check you out, to see what type of leader you're going to be. So I already written up a 2-page document. Hey, this is Meshelle. This is my consistency. I change up and I meet people where and who they are, how they are. And so after about, I must say about 8 months, right? Of us working together, doing tasks, me making changes, listening to what they had to say. Some of them started to tell me, they said, oh, so you're genuine. You keep your word. That right there, whew, I was like, I did it, right? Because for me, I had earned, right? Wasn't given. I had earned the respect of my team. And so one of the men on my team, he said, we're going to call you the equalizer because you make things happen. And you know what? I said, I'll take it. You know why? Because it's from my team and it's genuine. I said, I earned it, right? Whew, that meant so much, because that means that the things that I have done in this time with them, it meant something to them. They could see how I stood out. They could see and make their own decision that they would allow me to lead them. and to work with them as a team.
And that benefit of having somebody allow you to lead them is where true leadership is proven. It's easy to put out a 2-page document, right? It's
Mhm.
harder to live that 2-page document
Yes.
and have
Oh my
people
gosh.
say, you're genuine. So kudos to you for upholding your words
Yeah.
on paper with your
Mhm.
life and your daily practice, which is what we want leaders to do. Now, I
Thank
know that
you.
those periods of change came, you had to implement some because there's always a better way of doing things. And your team probably had some challenges along the way, but
Mhm.
they were secure in the fact that, hey, this person is doing what they said they would do. So what are certain strategies that you use with your team to deal with those times of change and challenge?
I always try to hold transparency really high, right? Yeah, you knew you coming in, you know, teams need information. So being able to share with them information that would help us to work better as a team and to treat them with respect, right? So those are the things that I needed to do so that they would understand that this is how we can work as a team and you're never alone. So to be able to be transparent, to meet them where they are, to get to know them individually, because everybody's different. They need different attention, they need different instructions to make sure that they understand what it is they need to do. And the other thing is to help them to not be afraid, to help them to not be afraid. I constantly worked on those things right there as my strategies so that I could mold the team to not only just work with me, but to work with each other. I developed a working style chart. And so in that chart, anytime we got a new team member, I would add them to that chart so we could look at each other's working styles. The dominant working style in my office is analytical. So I explained to them because our dominance, when we approach a task as analytical, that means we have to also keep an open mind because we have to be collaborative. We have to have vision. We need to be a driver to get our things done on time. So we have to work at those other things. We can't just be so analytical and focused like that. We have to work on other things, right? So this is the strategies that I use so that we can work together.
Look here. Everyone here listening to Meshelle the Equalizer knows how it works and how it goes. So, on paper or the resume says one thing, those tangibles, but you're speaking about all these intangibles, right? As they call them, the soft skills, right? This is what really drives, no pun intended, the train in this
Yes,
case.
yeah.
But thank you, Meshelle, for all the great strategies, all the tips that you share, everything you do in the community. Salute to you, Army vet, as well. And folks listening in that want to get a hold of you, Meshelle, or the Washington Metropolitan Area Transportation Authority, how do they go about doing so?
So we do have what we call our hotline, right? And it's SBPO hotline at WMATA.com. So that's SBPO hotline at WMATA, which is WMATA.com.
And we will have that as part of the show notes and video for you to be able to get a hold of Meshelle. And I know she is in and active on LinkedIn, so we'll provide that as well.
Yes.
But folks, if you want to get a hold of us at the Leadership Void podcast, the Leadership Void at gmail.com is where you'll send that correspondence. If you want to hear any particular leadership topics covered on our show, or you want to see a guest, please send us that, and Vince and I will curate that and see what we could do about it. But it has been great talking to Meshelle, Army vet, whoa to all my folks.
Yeah, and absolutely. I just want to say, based on what she says in her background, as far as team success, this young lady is an epitome of success. So Meshelle, continue doing great things in your organization and in the community. And for our success, we wouldn't be able to do it without our sponsors. We have Triple Nickel, VEI, and FAVOB, our sponsors in our show. So thank you for that. But as all today about Meshelle, thank you so much. MV, which is not motor vehicles. You got to listen to the show to hear what that stands for. Ms. Howard, it's been a pleasure. Have a great day and much success in your future.
Thank you so much, Vince and Enrique. This has been awesome, and I love your show.